Good evening and welcome to Simsport Racing International GT3 Championship. It is our Tier 2 finale of Season 4. Can't believe we are 6 rounds down already, coming into our final round at the epic Suzuka racecourse in Japan. And it all comes down to the wire. This has been a phenomenal season. All four of our classes are open to deciding who the championship winner is going to be in our final rounds. And I can't remember the last time we had that situation happen. So you are in for a massive treat this evening. Joining me for all the fun and games is Chris Hill, who's going to be pulling double duty tonight in the comms box with me and doing cameras as well. So, good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Sam. I think what you need to say is attempting to. You and I both know this doesn't go that well.
You do a great job of multitasking both.
I'm struggling to breathe and speak at the same time. That's the extent of my multitasking. You looking forward to this? It sounds like you are.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, like I was saying, I can't remember the last time we had a championship season go down this close, especially across all four of our classes. So this week and our race next week, none of the championship places are finalized yet. So, it's phenomenal, and it just goes to show the caliber of racing that we've had. We've had a multiple of winners across all of our races, and it's just given us some really, really fantastic driving to commentate on throughout the season. So yeah, it comes down to Suzuka. Len, love it or hate it, it's a phenomenal circuit. Really, really technical, really challenging. Does tend to be drivers are either love it or hate it. I personally hate it, simply because Spoon Corner tries to kill me every single time I attempt to drive into it. I'm not the only one. My husband hates it as well. Chris, you were saying that you like it though.
I do. I quite like this circuit. It's quite a challenging, technical circuit, in my opinion. Rewards smooth drivers, of which I'm not one of. It doesn't stop me enjoying it. I've had my equal frustrations. I do believe I'm one of the slowest guys out there according to midweek practice, and I only set one lap.
Yes, well, you have an excuse. You were doing our lovely, recording our lovely track guide, which is why you were nearly 30 seconds off the pace.
There's no need to rub it in, is there?
No. But how about we show the fans the fruits of your labors, and let's do our track guide. So coming down the start-finish straight, into the first turn section, which is actually turns 1 and 2, an ever tightening corner. Really, really easy to get the second part of it wrong. It's almost like two separate braking zones, but you've got to get it right in order to set yourself up for the S curves, which is a fast-flowing, multiple left right. I think there are 5 corners in this section in total, forming the S curves. And you eventually come out of turn 7 around into Donlop curve, taking you out of the grandstand section and up into the braking zone for Degners. Degner 1 being the person then coming into Degner 2, which is a much sharper corner. It does catch a lot of people out, but plenty of space to go wide on the outside. Then we cross underneath the track, coming into turn 10 and then into the very, very critical braking zone for turn 11 at the hairpin. Got to get your exit right coming out of here. Turn 12 flat out. Kind of a bit strange to really call it a corner, as it does seem to go on for absolute ever. But then coming into my nemesis of Spoon, which is turns 13 and 14. Really, really difficult to get right. If you get it right coming in, you get it wrong going out, and vice versa. But again, really, really important. As you come out of turn 14, you've then got the back straight coming down into turn 15, world famous 130R. I was reading today that this corner has been reprofiled 5 different times to try and make it a little bit safer. But then you come into the chicane complex of Casio Triangle of turn 16, 17, and 18. Very tricky pit lane entry right at the exit out of turn 18 and on to the main start-finish straight. Slightly longish track on the calendar, 3.6 miles long, which is about 5.8 kilometers. And real life lap record here is a 2:02.2 set by a Bentley Continental in 2019. We are definitely going to see much faster times than that. Our midweek practice server, pretty much our top 16 drivers were all underneath that lap time. So definitely going to be some quick laps put in here. I would certainly expect when we get into Tier 1 next week, seeing some 2-minute dead lap times would not be that much of a surprise. So, as this is the championship finale, let's take a look at the state of play coming into this race tonight. So starting with our AM class, our top 3 drivers, Frank Hopp currently sitting on 112 points. This is after taking into account our drop rounds. So drivers drop their lowest score throughout the championship. Helps those who've had to miss a race for real life reasons, and just kind of evens out then the tables. But we've got Frank Hopp currently sitting in that P1 spot with 112 points. Ryder Vince very close behind on 100 points, and then Aaron van der Linden currently sitting in P3 on 98 points. Now, I was frying my brain over dinner trying to figure out what some of the computations are. I gave up after I realized that there are just way too many possibilities, but what I can tell you is if Frank Hopp finishes P4 or better, then irrespective of what anybody does behind him, he will take the championship win. Obviously, if he is in P5 or worse, then I have a trusty spreadsheet that I've put together just before we came on air, so that hopefully on the fly I should be able to figure out what some of the permutations are. Right, silver, just as interesting and kind of a lot more widely spread in as well. So we've got Timo Zidek currently sitting in P1 with 98 points after drop rounds have been taken into account. Sebastian Renal sits in P2 with 92 points, so only 6 points back. Frans van der Linden currently sitting in P3 with 79 points. Now, I just want to mention Dennis Meter, currently in P4, had to sign out of the race tonight. But Andy King, even though he's currently sitting in P5, he's got a chance to get himself onto the podium. So everything to play for in the silver class. Everything really tightly packed together in those point gaps. So again, I will be keeping an eye on this throughout the race. But to give you a indication, Timo Zidek needs to finish P2 or better to win the championship regardless of what happens behind him. So a little bit less variation for Timo. He's going to have to be properly on it to get the championship win. But that is state of play going into tonight. So drivers are out doing their qualifying laps. So let's go and see how everything stands at the minute. So Timo Zidek currently in that P1 position. Funny enough, with a 2-minute dead 0.5. And Andy King only 2/10 back currently in P2. Aaron Van Druenen currently sitting in P3. Only 3/100ths back from Andy King. So really, really tight between those top 3 drivers. Frank Hopp, our AM class leader at the minute, currently sitting quite happy in P4 with a 2-minute 0.9, which is considerably better than the practice times that he was putting in midweek. So Frank's definitely been doing some offline practice to get that lap time down, and sitting, really, really great position currently in P4.
Just
So we're on board.
Jump in, sorry.
Sorry.
Andy King's just popped up in first place, but I was going to say Timo Zidek was on a much faster lap. He's just done pretty much a 2-minute dead.
Oh, wow.
But it is getting closer. Andy King is only 0.3 behind. So it looks like we're going to be have a fun race.
Yeah. So I think a lot of drivers have come into this round thinking, yep, championship points are up for grabs. Nothing is definite and signed off yet. And certainly looking at some of the amount of practice that some of our drivers have been putting in. P1 driver to note, Wouter Vince, currently our P2 driver in AM class, and the sole Lexus. This is a man on a mission. He did 234 laps in the midweek practice server.
Wow.
So, that's a lot, and by far, not the only one putting in considerable amount of laps. Cohen Gaines did 214. Peter Brocklin did 221. So a lot of these drivers thinking, yep, it may be the final race of the season, but there's still loads of points available, and people have been putting in the practice. Right. Who is improving? Franz van der Linden currently 0.3 up. No, 0.4 up on his time now. Where is he? Just coming out of Spoon. And this will put him up P6 probably. If he maintains his current advantage.
I think I might have jumped on a bit too soon with him, to be honest.
That's all right. He's just coming into Casio Triangle, so not long for him to finish his lap.
Oh, for a minute I thought I was going to go into the pits. Jumps up one place.
Puts him up to P7. Aaron van der Linden, on the other hand, currently P9, 5/10 up on his lap time, just coming up to the start-finish, and that should put him, that puts him up to P7, so really good, good lap from him. Who else is improving?
Steve Parker.
Yeah, Steve Parker. well, when we first came on board with him, he was 7/10 up, but looks like he got 130R a little bit wrong, but stays P10. But that
Hopefully we might be back, Sam.
we're back. Are we back? I think we're back. Yes, we're back. We are back. Right. So, no change of positions during that time. However, we have got quite a number of drivers who are out and improving. Sebastian Reno currently 4/10 up. Jonas Planis was 5/10 up. I think he's had a little bit of a moment somewhere. Who are we on board with? Cohen Gaines. All right. Apologize for the hiccups, YouTube.
No idea why this is happening, guys. Really do apologise.
Yeah, do bear with us. At least we're able to get back online relatively quickly.
See, all those times it happens, I'm learning.
I know you are, yeah. So in that last interim, Frank Hopp managed to get himself up into a very, very respectable P3, and was on to improve his time, but he's just dropped a little bit of time at the minute, just coming into Spoon, and that is track limits, definitely.
Oh, without doubt.
Without a doubt.
Any further out, it'd be in China.
Yeah. So, but currently sitting in P3, which is an amazing time for Frank Hopp. There's no way I can do 2-minute zeros right around here. Not a hope in hell.
Don't get fooled by Sebastian Reinhold there. He's currently 0.8 up, but he's on a red lap, so I'm not even going to show it.
Okay.
Don't know why I told you, really.
No, Sebastian.
Mick Shellikin's currently 0.2 up, 0.3.
Yeah, so then this should get him P8 maybe? He maintains the advantage.
He's not.
Which he doesn't. He unfortunately got a little bit out of shape coming through Casio Triangle.
Oscar, however, is currently half a second up on his time. I don't think he'll improve position, will he?
No, he might do. Yeah. Yeah, he might do. So he's 2/10 back from P11. So he'll get one place at least.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. That's why you do the commentating.
I'm not going to ask what you were looking at instead.
I was looking at last lap rather than best.
Right, okay.
So it's legitimate stupidity.
Yes. Yeah.
Or buffoonery.
Yes, so I was just going to mention Sebastian Reno. On a valid lap at the minute and currently 7/10 up. Currently in P6. So if he continues this charge, this should put him up to P4?
I can't do maths. Can't do maths on the fly.
Neither can I. I'm kind of guessing.
Well.
But yeah, he's definitely improving really, really well. Currently a second up, coming out of Casio Triangle, and it's all looking valid at the minute. And yep, that puts him up to P4.
Well done, Sam.
good guess, wasn't it?
I think you really did calculate that.
Not really. Close approximations. Looks like the pole battle between Timo Zidek and Andy King has kind of settled down a little bit. Neither of them seem to be improving. Although then they're still out grinding laps. Although Timo has just gone off track.
An RTG'd.
An RTG'd.
Franz here, half a second up.
Yeah. Hacking the chicane nicely, and this should put him up to P7.
And it does. That might be better.
So I'm just noticing, Iridius Parties has not put in a lap. Has not even attempted to put in a lap. Although he's out on track at the minute, but is showing as not having completed a single lap, valid or not. So
He's actually back in the pits.
Intentionally starting from the back.
Oh, Shellikins. He's just sort of ruined his lap as we came on. Got all excited for nothing.
And how much was he up?
0.3.
Right, and it looked like he got himself. Oh, okay. That is a classic example of how you can get 130R very, very, very wrong. You got to be going some to hit the wall coming out of 130R, but yeah, he hit it with some proper vigor.
Vigor. Now, that's a word I've not heard for a long while.
Oh, okay, just noticed Frank Hop has come into YouTube, into the chat saying, crashing every 3 to 4 laps, so this should be interesting.
Franz 0.3 of a second up again. Doesn't improve.
But that is the session over. Before you knew it, you were done. So yeah, phenomenal lap time by Timo Zidek there for a 2-minute 0.072. Really, really great lap time, and I'm stunned. Our top 6 all in 2-minute zeros. I haven't got a hope of hell of doing a 2-minute zero around here.
Hashtag me too.
Yeah, so this is going to give us some interesting racing to watch. So Timo doing exactly what he needed to do, putting his car on pole, puts him in the best position to clinch that silver class championship. Andy King clearly and out to try and get one of the podium positions, taking P2 in the in qualifying there. I'm going to definitely keep an eye on how things pan out with Andy King. It'd be really, really nice to see him get a podium. The pure masterclass that he showed at Watkins Glen of doing a last to first has sealed a special place in my heart for Andy King. So I'm really hoping that he does get one of the podium positions in that silver class. And just looking to see where Wouter Prince managed to Qualify not well, P16. So that is going to give him so much work to do to try and hold on to that P2 position in the AM class. Obviously, Frank Hopp, stellar performance coming in P3, doing everything that he needs to clinch that AM class championship. Aaron van der Linden managed a P9, so that's a good good position to be in coming into the race itself. Gives him a good chance of taking the P2 position away from Router by the time then the race pans out. Obviously, this track does allow for quite a bit of overtaking. You'll see a lot of overtakes attempted into the beginning of Degner 1, also into the hairpin. You see quite a number of overtakes in there, and potentially into turn 1 as well. Occasionally you see some people trying to attempt an overtake coming into the Casio Triangle chicane. Very rarely works out. The curbs there are very dangerous, and can quite easily catch you out and throw cars all over the track. So wouldn't recommend that personally, but have seen it on occasion. I may not like driving this track, but I love commentating here. There's always some interesting racing and moves to talk about. So hopefully our drivers tonight should keep up the tradition of having some great races around Suzuka. Loving the fact that this is our final round. And let's not keep the fans waiting. Let's jump straight into our grid walk. So on row 1, doing exactly what he needed to do, Timo Zidek taking pole position, Andy King lining up alongside in P2. On row 2, Frank Hopp with a stellar performance to take the AM pole, lines up alongside Sebastian Reno. Then on row 3, we've got Aaron van Drunen lining up alongside Johan Planus. In P7, we've got Frans van der Linden alongside our P2 AM driver of Steve Parker. Then in row 5, we've got Aaron van der Linden lining up alongside Mick Schellekens. Then in P11, we've got Oster Actus lining up alongside Cohen Geens. On row 7, Michael Huenzenga, I believe is how I pronounce that. Probably not. Do apologize, Michael. Lining up alongside Peter Brockland. Then Router van der Wert coming in P15, and Router Vince P16. And on the back row, Iridius Parties taking P17, with not setting a lap time in qualifying, and not doing any laps either. So interesting to find out what might be going on there, whether it's an intentional or technical issue or something like that. But that is our starting grid. Weather is looking absolutely fantastic, maybe possibly a little bit on the hot side. So air temperature currently sitting at 31. We've got no wind to speak of. Track temperature of 40 degrees. Now, this is a 75-minute race. That means that our mandatory pit stop is for fuel only. Now, Chris, we were discussing this before we came on air, and the likelihood of anybody attempting to do this race on a single set of tires, we're thinking it's a bit thin, but there may be the odd driver here or there with an eye on getting some championship positions. Wonder if anybody's going to risk it.
Well, the next 75 minutes will tell us. Was that a bit of a cop-out, that?
Just a little bit, yes, Chris.
I suspect that with track temperature being so high at 40 degrees,
Mm.
I think, and there's no sign of any rain. I think there will be. I think, and I don't know why I keep repeating the words. I think that most people will stop and change tyres.
Yeah, yeah. So, with that in mind, when we would obviously expect drivers to start coming in at that midpoint, just to, to make the best of those tire lives. Um, so yeah, if anybody hasn't pitted by, sort of then the 35-minute mark, 30-minute mark, then, definitely one to watch to think maybe they might be eking out tires. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very big ask. If anyone does decide that they want to risk it. But this is a track that eats tires for a living, and as Chris mentioned, it is quite hot. Um, so it's going to be a big ask.
I don't think I want to be walking the track in bare feet. Put it that way.
No, definitely not. No, 40 degrees, definitely quite toasty.
Scorchio.
Scorchio, love that. So, Chris, predictions. I'm gonna actually nail you to make a decision.
Okay. He who finishes first shall finish first.
That is also a cop out.
Is it?
It is.
I'm gonna
Driver name.
go with King.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Oh, you
I,
can't. You
I
can't. I bagged it.
uh,
I actually want to say
yeah.
Frank. I want Frank to win a race.
You know what? That would be absolutely phenomenal. And I would love that to bits. And if Frank won the race, it would be absolutely amazing. But with the times that Andy King and Timo Zidek have been putting in, I think that's gonna be a bit of an ask. Interestingly, just looking at the midweek server times, Andy King did outdrive Timo in the practice servers by a good 7 places. Let me just see what then the time difference between them was. Bear with. Have I got time? I've got a little bit of time. Oh, only 1/10. No. 1.1. So a second difference. And having said that, Timo only did 5 laps worth of practice in the online server, so probably just enough to get a sense for temperatures and to set pressures, and then has probably done most of his practice offline. Right, so coming into Casio Triangle on their formation lap, getting ready to take the green flag for our final race of Season 4, Tier 2. Has been a absolutely phenomenal season so far. Really hoping that these guys give us a fantastic finale to the season. Don't get caught out. That first line is not the start-finish line. I always get that wrong when I'm racing here.
Green light, go.
And we are racing. Looks like Timo got a really good start. Interestingly, Sebastian Reynal sitting a little bit wide coming down the straight towards then the flag, but is getting a little bit swamped in traffic. But everybody away cleanly, it appears. I'm not seeing any yellows. A couple of drivers being forced wide, but certainly no yellow flags to speak of. So nice and clean start. Just coming through the S's section now. and Timo getting a nice clean start ahead of Andy King, although Andy King definitely making sure that Timo's not able to romp away, but they are starting to build a bit of a gap to Frank Hopp in P3. Frank's definitely going to have his work cut out with him to keep up with these two. So on board with Timo, looking back over that massive rear wing on the Lamborghini back at the Ferrari of Andy King. That gap 0.3 just as they are coming out of Spoon on the straight towards their first attempt of 130R at speed. As we just flip forward to see Timo going through 130R, finding the braking point coming into Casio Triangle, taking lots and lots of curb. I seem to remember not that long ago that Lamborghinis just needed to look at a curb and they would go all to pieces, but the 1.9 Lamborghini seems to be able to handle curbs quite nicely. Just sitting aboard with Aaron Van Drienen, just harassing Sebastian Renal a little bit. Sebastian goes just a little bit wide, allowing Aaron to catch up. That gap only 0.2 at the minute, but Jonas Planis coming up onto the back of this pack, and Frans van der Linden very close behind as well. So this very quickly turning it into a four-way battle for P4 overall. Oh, just noticed Regis Party, starting from the back rows, had a great start and managed to gain himself 3 positions.
And promptly lose them.
And promptly losing them as well. So I think he might have had a little bit of an off coming out of Dunlop. So yeah, been bits. Got a little bit overly excited there for a minute. As we are just on board with Jonas Planis, having a little bit of a look. Aaron Van Drienen. Oh!
That was Frans van der Linden.
That was Frans. Yeah, so Jonas Planis going just a little bit wide coming out of the S's onto the Dunlop curve. Coming to rejoin and just not quite being given enough space.
We've missed an overtake. I shall go and find it. Apologies, YouTube.
So Andy King, at some point while we were on board in the mid pack, has managed to take the lead from Timo Zymek, but Timo still in the position that he needs to be in order to clinch the title. So if he is thinking at all about the overall championship, he probably wouldn't have fought that too hard, and keeping one eye on the overall championship. I have no doubt that he came into this race fully aware of where he needed to finish. So Andy King doing a great job getting up into P1.
A replay of what actually happened. Just in the distance there you see Timo Zymek off the track, giving the opportunity into the hairpin for Andy King to get past. Seized it with both hands. You see?
Nice and easily done. But he's not letting Timo's not letting Andy get away. So keeping that gap to about 0.4 at the minute. and closing coming up into 130R. So Andy goes a little bit wide coming out of 130R and manages and does invalidate his lap. So gonna have to be a little bit careful to make sure that he doesn't get any track limits out in that section. Very, very easy to get pulled wide coming out of 130R.
This battle looks a lot closer on the other screen.
So, testing my spreadsheet to see if everything works. If the race were to finish right now, Andy would take P3 in the championship. So, good to know my spreadsheet works.
Well done. You could have tricked everybody and said, you know, just sitting here thinking about this, doing a quick calculations in my head. You didn't need to tell everybody you got a cheat sheet there.
Right. Yeah. And anyone who knows me knows for a fact that my brain is just not capable of doing those sort of computations. So yeah, that's not going to happen. Oh, I've just noticed Jonas Planis has done his mandatory pit stop already.
He must have had damage from that,
Yeah.
that incident.
So the question is...
Ooh, 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah. It's a bit tight. I think Jonas might have to pit again. If not, that Ferrari is going to be like Bambi on ice. They definitely keep an eye on how Jonas does.
Yanis, you're making names up now. You're mixing names together there.
Oh.
You told me to tell you
No,
when you do make these mistakes. You did tell me.
I know. Johan Planis.
We've missed another overtake. I'll try and get a replay of that at some stage of Van Drunen getting past Reinl. Now you said before we started this stream,
Yes.
off air, we shouldn't be too busy tonight. I'm sure that's what you said.
Quite what I said. I was saying that I hope the fact that we've only got 17 drivers in the server then this evening, that I hope we have some battles to watch. So, you know, then don't go twisting my words. That's not fair.
But it's my speciality.
Yeah, I know. Right, so just working out how everything sits at the minute in our AM class. And as it stands at the minute, our championship positions stay as they are.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Ooh. Sorry. A bit close that from Team 1 to Andy.
It was, yeah. Yeah, I mean, then that gap, you know, Timo was definitely doing everything he can to stay on the back of Andy King. Having a little bit of a look up the inside. I think this is a case where one driver is quicker in one part of the track, the other driver quicker in another part of the track, and it's evening them out. So I've got a feeling that we're going to see a little bit of an accordion effect of then the gap expanding and contracting throughout the race.
So do you think we've got
Or
time to show you a
throughout the
replay?
lap, sorry. Uh, yeah, why not? They'll probably prove us wrong and we'll come back and see that another overtake's happened, but hey, yeah. Choice of replays, we can always go back and watch. So this is Aaron Van Duren on Sebastian Reno ahead.
It is.
Sebastian just got a little bit of a bad exit coming out of the SSRI and goes miles wide coming into Degna 1. Aaron Van Duren having a little bit of power slide coming out of Degna 2, but keeps it all together and gets the overtake done. So, yeah, aggressive, definitely, but I didn't see any contact.
I think Aaron just took full advantage of Sebastian being off track, to be honest, and just not letting him back on.
and keeping him there. Yeah.
Oh, Andy King go wide.
Andy King.
That's
that is gotta be a track limit, and I don't know if that was him letting Timo through, or just letting off the throttle to avoid getting a track limit warning. But yeah, Timo back in the lead of the race. So it didn't look like Andy just missed his braking point going into Casio there, and decided to take an avoiding action across the grass as opposed to hitting that sausage curb full on, which probably would have done a whole lot worse.
Remind me, Sam, does Team Only actually need to win this race?
Nope.
No.
Been P2 or better.
I didn't think he did. Certainly wants to, though.
But let's face it, these guys are racing drivers. If they can win, they will win. And if you don't capitalize on, another driver's mistake ahead of you, are you really a racing driver? So some would argue probably not.
Possibly not.
But, yeah. But this is quite a tasty battle in the midfield. So this is a 5-car train. All of this for P10 overall. So this train starts with Wouter van der Wert, Cohen Greens, Peter Brocklet, Michael Huizenga, and Aaron van der Linden jumping onto the back of this train as well.
I'm on the wrong car there with me.
No, that's all right. You can pick anyone out of this group. All AM drivers and all fairly close together within the AM class standings. So, then this battle is going to be important to these individual drivers. It could be places made in the championship from this.
Oh, that was going to end in tears.
Never.
Yeah,
definitely not a place that you want to try and attempt an overtake going into the inside of 130R. It's just suicide.
Or to making a mistake into Casio, similar to Andy King, leaving himself exposed to Gaines. On the other screen I have got the battle for first, so if anything does happen I'll jump straight back to that.
Yeah, then that battle's kind of calmed down a little bit. That gap currently 0.7, so let's definitely stay on board with Gaines. I'm noticing Bridius Party's pitting quite early as well. I've just seen him dive into the pits now.
I'm not sure if he's done an RTG because I think I was trying to figure out who car 2 was and there was a yellow flag showing for him. It'll be interesting to see if he does come back out of the pits.
Yeah, okay. Keep an eye on that.
This battle looks like it's settled down slightly.
Yeah, this battle that was 5 cars worth and has now kind of split up into 2 separate packs. Although, where on earth is Wouter van der Wert going?
I think he was trying to achieve what that driver achieved the other week in Super Formula, was it?
It's like you just completely forgot to turn. Very strange. So that promotes Cohen Gaines up to P9, and Peter Brockman very, very close on his heels in P10 in that dual liveried Aston Martin.
Very cleverly done in the Belgian flag.
Yeah, with John Player special livery on the black side, and I believe it's Lightning McQueen on the red side.
It certainly is, yes.
Very cute.
Similar livery to what Wouter Rinch runs as well. Maybe they are teammates. I think they're both in DDS Racing, so that explains why.
You are correct. Yes, they are both DDS Racing.
I'm going to have to go and have a lie down. It's the first time today I've been told I'm correct.
Yeah.
Whew.
Good news, Iridius Parties has come back out on to track.
And there was much rejoicing. Hey.
And there was much rejoicing, yes. So our Alpha Simsport driver Ferrari in the number 2 car back out on the track. I don't think he RTG'd actually. I think he must have managed to get that car back to the pits under its own steam, because he was stationary for a while, but certainly not the 2-minute controls lock that you get when you sort of automatically jump back from the pits.
Okay. And he served his mandatory stop as well.
Yep, so he does have the option of going to the end of the race, and again, like Johannes, I think this is, sorry, Johan, I'm going to be self-conscious about that now. It's going to be interesting to see how these two drivers manage towards then the end of the race, whether they're, big power slide that is coming into to turn 1. I mean, a brilliant job keeping control of that car and keeping everything all together. But yeah, I think both of us were fully expecting that to end in tears. But a lovely power slide from
Wouter Rinch.
I was going to say that was Wouter, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously the timing screen hadn't updated. Just taking a look at how things are heading up at the top end. Timo Zadek has found another gear in that Lamborghini, and has extended his gap to Andy King to 1.5 seconds. So yeah, then that battle well and truly decided for the minute. And Frank Hopp, we just see in then the background there, currently 2.4 back.
But as Timo goes slightly wide there. But Frank's maintaining the gap to Van Drunen behind as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Frank Hopp considering he's got 4 drivers in between him and the next AM driver, and the next AM driver is not one of his competitors for the championship. So, Frank can just kind of sit back and just enjoy this race and just not really push, just, drive in his own race. His closest competitor currently sitting down in P15. P3 driver who it's a long shot for Aaron van der Linden to attempt to take the win from Frank. He's down in P14. So yeah, Frank's kind of just sitting pretty, able to just do his own thing, and not really have to worry. So I suspect Frank is quite a happy boy behind the wheel of that Lamborghini.
And what was he saying in the YouTube chat earlier on? Crashing every 3 to 4 laps, so should be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, he's done 10 laps so far.
Yep, and not a single crash.
Oh, why did he say that?
No. Racing gods, we did not mean it. I have no idea how to undo a commentator's cursing, if at all possible, but yeah. I'm just not going to say anything else on that subject.
I think we'll find another car to jump on board with.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. We do have a yellow flag, and that's Steve Parker. Where is this? This is coming out of Dunlop. So it seems like a couple of drivers are struggling. No, sorry, that
Casio.
is coming out. That was coming out of 130R, coming into Casio. So, yeah, another driver who's come a little bit unstuck going through 130R. 130R is one of those corners where you just have to go for it. You can't be ginger around that corner. It seems to make things worse if you try to be careful going around it, or at least that's what I find. You've just gotta grit your teeth and just throw it in and hope for the best.
Do you drop a gear and throw it in, or do you go flat out?
I can't remember now. It's been a while since I've driven. I think I drop a gear, but I don't brake. So I think it's just a downshift, slight lift, and then immediately back on the throttle again once I'm turned in.
Yeah, I can't remember what I do.
It sounds about right.
I can't remember what I did to achieve my 2 minutes 30 lap time here.
Yes.
Hot lap video coming soon.
Driver training by Chris.
How not to do it.
Yeah. I mean, considering 130R is one of the corners that I enjoy around here, it's probably not then the worst way then to take it. But yeah, then nobody take any advice that I would give when it comes to spoon. Yeah, just I would actually suggest avoiding me on track and at Suzuka at all costs.
I think this is the closest battle on track, although saying that, there's one right behind them. They've done it again, Sam.
I know. They've given you 2 battles and you need to decide. And I think unfortunately you chose wrong, because I think Mick Schellekens has just managed the overtake on Michael Huizenga for...
So what you're saying is I'm too slow with that?
Yes, I believe you are. And yeah, sorry.
Never mind.
Well, you got there in the end.
Yeah, better late than never.
Exactly.
I think we'll stick with it for a short while, just in case.
Just in case, yeah, because, yeah, oh, Peter Bocklin having a go up the inside. Gonna be on the outside for Degna, and yeah, it just
Oh,
goes at, oh,
and Chelikins goes off behind in sympathy. I should have stuck with
yeah.
it. Oh no, clicked on
You
wrong
know
buttons now.
drivers are gonna do the absolute opposite.
Oh, there's another overtake there. Oh, bloody hell. On the other screen, I'm watching this.
You'll catch up. But I'm sure they'll let you catch up soon.
They're just not playing fair tonight, so I'm taking my bat and ball in.
You're gonna throw your toys out and go home.
Yes. Oh, I am home.
Okay. Oh, it looks like things have gone slightly bad to worse for Iridius parties back in the pits again. Not too sure what's happened there. Part of me is wondering that he might have a kind of an intermittent technical issue. I might explain why he didn't put any laps in practice, and why he seems to be in and out of the pits so far during this race. When we're what 20. Oh, I'm really having
I'd help me if I knew what I was looking for.
There we go. We're a half hour into the race. I can't figure out how much time had gone past already. Oh dear. Yeah, so when we're 30 minutes into the race, I would suspect in the next 15-20 minutes probably start to see more scheduled pit stops starting to come in, certainly from those who are planning on changing tires. Unfortunately, I'm not quite clever enough to come up with a F1 style pit window graphic for you, or even working out what those calculations would be. But I would guess that majority of those pit stops are going to start coming within the next 15-20 minutes. Maybe even within the next 10 to 15 minutes, actually. That would be about halfway into the race. Saying that Timo Zidek has got the fastest lap, and has held that fastest lap for a while now. And that fastest lap at 2 minutes 0.8. Considering that was set very early on in the race, heavy with fuel, that is really good. And I'm noticing we've got another yellow flag for Mick Shelikins at Spoon.
Oh
my god. Isn't that the start of a song?
Ting tang walla walla bing bang.
Yeah.
No, never heard of it.
Oh, at least it's not my imagination.
I just thought I was going to be really close then.
So yeah, this is for P9 overall. So we got Rada van der Wert in the Gulf liveried Ferrari up front, and we're on board with Peter Brockman at the minute. Getting harassed a bit by Michael Huizenga and Steve Parker.
Just runs wide.
Yeah, it does go quite wide.
I think I've got them both this time.
So that looked up in the top corner. That looked like Michael gifted that position to Van der Linden.
I wonder if that's going back a few laps where I think they had it coming together, didn't they? Into this corner,
Possibly,
into Spoon.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he was giving the place back. If he is, that's very, very respectful.
Yeah, especially if it's a couple of laps ago. That's fantastic sportsmanship. Really, really great to see. And something else then that's really good to see, but despite being in the pits twice already, Iridius Parties has come back out and it is still racing. As we just fly over Peter Brocklet deciding to jump into the pits. Just trying to think off the top of my head what the whether the undercut is any good here. Off the top of my head, I can't think whether it is or not. Anyone in YouTube want to jump in and give me some info on that? It would be much appreciated.
I hope you're not looking at me to give you an answer on that.
No.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back. I've not even watched any of the esports streamers doing any races around Suzuka recently, so I can't remember whether it was beneficial for any of them either. But oh no, Peter Brockland.
Oh dear.
Stop go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, Peter. Oh dear.
That gentleman will be kicking himself.
Oh. It's painful to see. But I mean, it's such an awkward pit entry here. Really, really easy to get wrong because you've got to put yourself in kind of a weird position coming out of the Casio chicane so that you're on the right side of the track to be able to jump into the pits. But yeah.
It looks like it. And as Wouter van der Wert goes wide again. But he's just let his teammate past.
Yeah. I mean, there's they're potentially playing the team game. Aaron van der Linden obviously, considerably higher in the championship than Wouter. So, might have let him past in terms of trying to maximize in his point, but not really going to do him too much good being down where he is. But yeah, that would be my guess, is trading positions under team orders.
Not necessarily team orders, is it?
Well, I'm a commentator. I need to add color and excitement, and that's part of my job.
I think the term you're looking for is blowing things out of all proportion.
That's exactly what commentators do. It is our job. So yeah, poor Peter Brockland back into the pits to serve his stop go 30. And Mick Shelikin's kind of getting himself in the way coming into the hairpin at turn 11. Thankfully, no contact. And Radovritz manages to get past.
I don't think Wouter. Yeah, I don't think that was a position change. I think Mick was trying to go for a position change.
Right.
Sorry.
No.
Oh.
By all means,
Mick's off again.
Me. Yeah, Mick is struggling this evening. Getting a bit out of shape with a lot of the curves.
Wouter jumps in the pits as well.
Just looking to see. I mean, Mick didn't do any practice laps on the main server, but obviously that doesn't mean that he hasn't put in any practice on his own offline. But yeah, not the sort of driving that I would expect from Mick. And as you and I were discussing off air before the race started, Mick was one of my teammates for the 24-hour spa endurance that we did a couple of years ago. Normally a very, very clean and calculated driver, so not sure why he's struggling a bit this evening. So, we're just on board in his driver's view. Is coming up to the turn 11 hairpin. Doesn't quite catch the apex, but gets a nice exit out. But is definitely dropping time to Steve Parker up ahead.
Zidek has pulled out a 3-second gap now to King. Gone to another Lambill.
Yeah, so Timo, it looks like once again just running on autopilot. As just see Andy King come out of Degna in the background. Obviously, they've got a back marker between them at the minute. As we're seeing more pit stops starting.
Yeah, bang on halfway.
Through. Yep. So I would definitely be interested to see anyone who is not pitted by sort of 20 minutes left. That would it would definitely be interesting to keep an eye on. But
I suspect Franz hasn't taken tyres because his pit was very, very quick.
It was. But if you're not going to take tyres, surely you'd leave your pit stop later. There's no benefit to you pitting with everybody
halfway,
else.
No, absolutely not. Unless he's only half filled. Yeah,
and this is true. It could be a last minute decision that he planned for doing a full tire and fuel stint, changed his mind, thinking, okay, my tire wear is much better than I expected. Possible.
Timo Zidek, Frank Kopp, and Van Drunen on the pits. Same time. I like that feature. Sorry. Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, then the amount of time that we've been watching these guys, they are all definitely taking tires. So, yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting.
And crucially, Frank Kopp has he's maintained his advantage over Van Drunen.
Yep.
So, let's jump on with King and see where he is at the moment. See
just
if he
coming
reacts.
into Spoon. Yeah. Is he going to cover off Timo, or is he going to try and put some flying laps, some quick laps in? Timo's obviously going to have to get his tires up to pressure.
Timo's just gone past the back marker on the off screen. And
he doesn't pit. So potentially trying to get some of that that time back. Oh, there's in the background drag race down the start-finish straight. And oh,
Well held, that man.
very, very well held. A very unusual spin there as well. It just seemed like then the car just locked up under brakes. Very strange, but yeah, when well held on to.
Ian van der Linden it was. Sorry.
And yeah, by router Vince.
That looked a bit
As,
naughty.
as I said, it goes a little bit wide. And looks like he's lost a position as well.
Router lost 2 positions there.
Yeah, because that's Michael Zenga in front of him. Just waiting for them to pass through the next timing marker for the leaderboard to update. Quite long sectors here, isn't it?
Yes. Seems to
And,
go on for ages.
Yeah. So, and Andy King, and interestingly enough, Sebastian Reinl, still out, not deciding to pit yet, and Mick Shellikins staying out as well. Steve Parker in the pits at the minute, so we've got 3 drivers.
King's in now.
Yet pit, and Kit comes in. It'll be interesting to see how much time he has gained over Timo by staying out. And nicely done. We've got Timo Zidek in the bottom half of the screen. Sebastian Reinl deciding to stay out for another lap. Timo just coming into 130R now.
I think King's got this. Oh, mind you, he's taking tyres possibly.
It's not moved yet.
Oh, this is going to be so close.
This is going to be close.
Take that back. This isn't going to be close.
No.
Oh, what an anticlimax.
Oh,
Oh.
I know. God, we do this every time, don't we?
We're trying to bring excitement to the game, and
I know.
We
I
just-
know. So
fact, has that Frank just got past Andy King there as well?
no,
I think it is.
it is. Oh wait,
Yeah.
it is. Blimey.
Oh.
Wait.
Ooh, sorry, came on that a bit.
Right. No,
late.
that's all right. Router Vince getting having his own interesting experience with Spoon.
I think him and
But yeah.
Steve collected each other somewhere along the line.
So yeah, timing board is just updated and confirmed. Frank Hopp, net P2. Andy King P3. So our 2 drivers yet to pit. Mick Shellikins currently sitting in P6, and Sebastian Reinl currently in the lead. And funny enough, so Sebastian Reinl was actually one of the drivers that I kind of had in mind as to whether they were going to risk doing a no tire strategy. I mean, it does depend on Timo losing a you would have to lose another position to bring that possibility.
That's
Talking
very
about
well done.
last minute to tuck back in.
Shellikins jumps into the pits.
Yeah. So yeah, and it'd be interesting to see if Sebastian Rano has decided to roll the dice and take a no tire strategy. But for that to pay off, Timo will have to lose another position. And as it stands at the minute, Timo will still take the championship, and Sebastian Rino will stay in first. Let me just...
First? Stay in third? Second? Quickly do a calculation in your head.
Yep. No, I can't do it in my head. This is more complicated stuff than what I can do in my head. Bear with me. Right. Talk amongst yourselves.
I would do, but there's only you and I here.
Okay. Okay. Commentate on something then while I figure this out.
I'll do it really professionally. Here's a car. A car is going around the track. Car goes vroom vroom. Oh, there's what a van divert.
And somebody goes sideways.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it will as it stands at the minute. There will be 2 points between them. The Timo Zidek taking the championship, Sebastian Reinl remaining in second. And as it stands at the minute, if Andy King doesn't get any places back, and because he's now just lost another position to Aaron Van Drunen, that is him off the podium.
I wonder if King's having to be careful because he's on another red lap here.
Oh, you think he might be on maximum track limit warnings?
Yes.
And in risk of a drive-through.
Which would certainly ruin his race.
It will certainly ruin his race, yes. But as it stands at the minute, he doesn't get that position back from Aaron Van Drunen. He will finish P4. Actually, if he takes P4, is that going to be enough? No, it's not enough. So King will have to finish P3 in or better to get onto the podium in the championship. Unless Franz loses some places from where he is now, is currently P6. But yeah, 25 minutes left. Sebastian Reinl still not pitted. So it's starting to look more and more likely like he is going to do a splash and dash towards the end of the race. What's the gap at the minute? About 100 seconds, so I wonder if Sebastian's possibly thinking, oh, okay, can I try and get enough of a gap for a full pit stop? It's gonna be difficult here because, well, actually no. If he's only taking a splash and dash, I wonder if that's what he's got in the back of his mind. The splash and dash and maintaining enough of a gap to keep P1.
Quite possibly. His best lap time is a 2:01.6, so it could indicate that he's been on full tanks all the way.
Yep. Yep, definitely. Unfortunately, even if that all plays out, sadly, it won't make any difference to the championship standings. And as it, oh God, oh
I suspect there's going to be some Stewards inquiries after this event.
yes. And funny enough, something that I was saying to Nathan while we were having dinner before I signed in, I would hate for any part of this championship to be decided by the stewards. I really, really would.
It's not good. Not good.
No, no. But you know, it's not exactly unexpected. You know, people come into a final race, especially a championship like this, where you know everything is coming down to the wire. I mean, I've got a points gap column in my spreadsheet that I use here for my commentating, and the majority of the gaps throughout both silver and AM class are 2 points, 3 points. There's only 1, 2, 3. There's only 6 positions across the entire tier that have a points gap spread of more than 10. So majority of the points gaps are single figures that can quite easily be decided and changed in the course of a single race. So, it doesn't surprise me that we've got quite spicy racing where there are cars together, they're harassing each other because it's the last opportunity to get points, and there can be championship position changes just from a single position change on track. It certainly makes it interesting for us, though, Chris, doesn't it?
It does, and I think certainly what we did between last season and this season is we halved the championship points to try and make it more interesting, and that looks like it has worked very well.
Yeah, where it worked an absolute treat.
And I wish to thank all of the admin team for that, but I won't. I'll take no credit whatsoever.
A second, I thought you were going to say you were going to take all the credit.
No, I think, if I remember rightly, I think it was Sem that came up with that one. So,
okay.
Sem can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, well done, Sem.
Well, yep, definitely well done, Sem. I think I saw Sem lurking in the YouTube chat earlier. So, yep, thank you for that. Just noticed that Router is in the YouTube chat as well. Unfortunately, pulling out of the race.
I attracted attention. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't notice. I've been on my other tab, sorting out my my championship points, and I've been woefully neglecting my duties of monitoring YouTube chat as well as everything else going on. I'm good, but I'm not quite that good. I can do 2 things at once. 3. Pushing it a little bit. I do apologise.
I think if you read the comments, I suspect I might hear a slight titter off you. There you go. There's a slight titter.
There we go. Right. Yeah, Frank Hart, clearly one of my drivers and of the season from this tier. I think Frank Hart has.
Sorry.
He's driven absolutely amazingly throughout this season. Seen some really amazing progress from Frank. I remember driving with him in first season I was with SSRI actually, and we were both languishing rather painfully down at the bottom of the tables. But he's progressed so well since then. I fully expect to see him up in silver next season, which if the the little birdies to tell me, is potentially starting in January. So, if you're thinking of joining SSRI and being part of this fantastic, amazing championship that I have no doubt is going to be just as amazing next season, keep an eye on Discord for announcements when we open up signups for the new season. Speaking of Discord and end of season, while we've got a pause in festivities on track, just want to let you know that we are going to be opening up a end of season survey. So we would really, really love to hear from all our drivers, everyone watching our streams in YouTube. We want to know, how we've done this season, what suggestions you have as to, what you would like to see from us for future seasons. So there is a survey in the announcement channel on Discord. Jump in, answer a few questions for us, and it's going to allow us to make our community and our championships exactly what it is that you guys want, with the aim of being one of the best communities out there for clean, competitive sim racing in the world of ACC and Race Room. So definitely check out that survey. It'd be very, very much appreciated, and look forward to hearing all of your amazing feedback.
Beautifully done there, Sam.
Thank you.
No sarcasm there. There's no sarcasm.
No, you'd think I would have had that rehearsed.
It's almost like you did.
I didn't.
And I didn't tell you 1 minute before we went on live.
No, not at all.
I'm focused on Andy King here, Sam, just because his last lap was red, this lap was red. He must be really close to getting a drive-through by now.
Yeah, I mean, thing is though, I'm just looking. Even though his lap times have been red, I'm also looking at the lap times themselves. His last lap, 2:02.5. So he is obviously very, very aware that he's got to be careful. So whenever he is wandering outside track limits, he is letting off the throttle big time to avoid getting those track limit warnings. So yeah, I think your suspicions early on are most likely correct, that he is probably sitting on 3 warnings at the minute, and he's probably staring a drive-through penalty in the face, and doing everything he possibly can. But obviously, aside from staying within track limits, to avoid getting that drive-through penalty.
I knew what you were saying. It's all right. I wasn't going to pick up on that.
That was slightly snarky. I didn't mean it that way. But yes. So, yeah, it definitely looks like Andy is tiptoeing a bit around Suzuka to try and avoid ending his season on a drive-through penalty.
Okay.
But 15 minutes to go. Sebastian Reno yet to blink, and what's his gap at the minute? Still maintaining that gap. Currently 120 seconds. So definitely. If he's just going to be doing a very, very quick splash and dash. Oh, my timing screen has lied to me. It's actually not 120, and it's 20. So, and I think Sebastian is now running into the the period of the race where his tires are suddenly starting to go off and he's losing
Yes.
lap time. Just looking at his last lap,
Yeah.
2036 compared to Timo's 2011. So, yeah, it's a great strategy if you can pull it off, if you can maintain tires. Granted, track temperature has dropped 2 degrees, but not enough, unfortunately. So, but the one thing that we can definitely say, he's definitely given it his absolute best attempt. Trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat with going against the grain with strategy.
As he goes round again.
It's looking like it's not gonna be enough.
And all of a sudden on the back end of
Yeah.
Frank.
Yeah, I was just noticing this. So this is a bit of a three-way battle for P3. Obviously, we've got Aaron Van Drunen directly on the back of Frank Hart, but Andy King still lingering then in the background as well. Yeah, Frank lost a little bit of time then that last lap. His last lap 202.6 compared to Aaron's 201.9. So that's the reason why that battle has suddenly joined. Possible that Frank had made a little bit of a mistake somewhere.
King looks like very menacing here.
Wondering if he was going to put a dive up into the inside of Degner 1, but he's...
Oh. Switch back.
Yeah, I think he had to brake a little bit heavier than he wanted to avoid contact with Aaron Van Drunen there. Just coming into Spoon, not really an overtaking point.
Oh, goes wide again.
That was very strange. And Aaron Van Drunen going wide as well, so he's getting a little bit of a tire on the gravel there. It's going to compromise him all the way down this back straight leading into 130R, but not enough
Reynolds in.
and he could get close. Sebastian Reinl finally blinking 11 minutes to go into the pits. He is definitely going to lose the position to Timo and possibly Frank as well, maybe.
Yeah, Frank's just gone past him.
So
And Van Drunen.
just coming out now, and I think he's going to be behind Andy King.
I think you're right.
Because there was a big gap between Andy King and Franz van der Linden, which I think Sebastian is going to slot into.
Timing screen's now updated.
So, what does that do to the standings?
Sam's now using all her fingers and toes to count.
No, I haven't quite made my spreadsheet intelligent enough to pre-populate based on position. So I've got to look at the position in the race and then transfer that to how many points that position actually gets. No. And then I get it very wrong. There we go. Right, so positions will stay as they are, although Andy will come up to P4 in the championship. But as it stands at the minute, the championship will be Timo from Sebastian from France and Dennis Meter, who, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, had to sign out of the race this evening for real life. I don't want to say issues because I don't actually know what he's had to sign up for, but real life has gotten in the way and he's had to sign out.
Andy King's last lap. Red.
And a 2:02.1. So, yeah, they definitely needing to lift off when he is going off track. But he's definitely looking quite racy on the back of Aaron Van Drunen here. Obviously trying to force Aaron into making a mistake, but Aaron looks like he's keeping a nice, cool, level head.
This is one of the best drives I've seen of Aaron's.
Mm.
Normally has all sorts of disasters.
Yeah, no, then this is looking, very, very cool, very collected, positioning the car, where he needs to be without, over driving the car. So yeah, this is, a really, really great example of good, clean defensive driving. He's making Andy work for it.
Oh. Oh.
There was no way Andy was gonna get that pulled up in time. Thankfully, it didn't result in contact. But yeah,
What colour's his lap time?
Funny enough, red.
But sufficiently slow enough for some reason.
Yes,
Well, now he's
2:04.5.
Well, now he's going to go and have to do all that again.
Yeah, but he's dropped a considerable amount of time to Aaron. That gap now 1.4. So yeah, little bit of a impatient dive there from Andy. It's strange. Then this is not the sort of driving that we've gotten accustomed to seeing from Andy. He's normally a lot more collected than this.
That's red.
It is. Yeah.
Sorry, Andy. When you watch this back, we're not purposely picking on you.
No, we're not. We are not at all.
Just give him a breather.
So, Timo Zidek, just driving his own race. Not really racing. Just out for a Sunday drive. He's got a nice healthy 13-second gap on Frank Hopp in P2, and I do believe that there is a back marker in between them as well. With just under 5 minutes left in this final race. Yeah, Timo just singing along quite happily. I gotta admit, I do really like that livery, actually.
Very nice, isn't it? And the wing is just big enough to get their team name in.
Just. Yeah, Team Hot Air Balloon Motorsports. Yeah, it's been a really, really good season for Timo. A little bit of a hiccup at Watkins Glen. Only finished 8th in that race, but has 2 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd throughout the championship. So he's been really, really clean and consistent. And as I've said many a time, consistency is the key to being a good sim driver, sim racing driver. And this just goes to prove it. Timo's having a really, really great, consistent season. Hope to see him back again next season as well.
I'm sure this is nothing to worry about, but I'm looking at where Timo's hands are on the shifters, and he doesn't appear to be shifting up or down. So I hope there's not going to be a steward's inquiry to see whether he's got a fully automatic gearbox. Or am I just reading a bit too much into a sim?
I think you're reading a tiny bit too much into a sim. I don't know if they've quite coded that or not.
I must admit, I do like the way the hands are actually flowing on and off the wheel as you go around, which is sort of natural. Yeah. Anyway, back to the real world.
And as real a world as you get within a simulator.
Yes.
So as you can probably tell, not really very many close battles on track at the minute. I believe our closest battle is Steve Parker on the back of Mick Shellikens for P12.
Not this one we're watching then.
Yes, it is. Timing board hadn't updated. It was still showing as 2 seconds. Give me a break.
I just saw him close right in and I think, ooh, better get back on that. Very defensive there from Aaron. Oh, cut him off.
Yeah. No, then this is a very, very great drive from Aaron. Doing everything that he needs to do to keep a very aggressive Andy King behind, and not getting. It doesn't appear to be getting rattled by Andy's attempts to overtake and get him out of position. This is something that I struggle with. I cave under this sort of pressure.
And Andy off the track again.
Leaders on final lap now.
Where is Timo at the minute? It's just
Timo's here, so he's starting another lap.
okay. So this is final lap.
I'll keep an eye on the other battle. We'll try and stay on with Timo as long as possible here.
Yeah. I've just noticed the normally the map gives you a different marker for the leader. It used to be a triangle, so you could see where the leader was on track.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not anymore.
No, there's something wrong with my screen by the looks of it, because on my other screen it is a triangle.
That's why I was struggling to find where Timo was, so I could tell, is this our last lap, or are we just finishing a lap, or what? But yeah, when we are halfway there, so Timo just coming around.
No, Frank. No, Aaron.
See the-
Sorry. So Aaron's been
Oh.
spun round. Frank went really wide.
And that's Andy King
Yeah.
getting P2.
Go on. Get your calculator out. Oh, no.
Oh no, they're both oh!
Where's Aaron now? I would have thought Aaron had got through
I was
there.
gonna say that's not Aaron. Is that Franz? No.
No,
that can't be Franz.
it was either. There's Aaron now. So it was either Van der Vert
Finished the race.
or Ian.
Okay. While we've been on that, Timo was just finished the race and doing a lovely handbrake turn into turn 1. Andy King does come across in P1. Sorry, P2.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be very
Oh.
close. And Frank Hop just manages to get P3, but clinches the championship for the AM class. So, alright, let me just make a note. Timo, Andy, and Aaron, Frank, Colin. I feel very sorry for Andy King. He has missed out on P3 in the championship by 1 point. So this is obviously barring any stewards' inquiries post-race. This is not final. Timo Zidek, P1, 123 points. Sebastian Reno, P2, 101 points. Franz van der Linden, P3, 90 points. Andy King, P4, 89 points. I'm just going to quickly do the same for... no, actually, the positions are not... Oh, they might change... Router might have lost P2 out to Arjun or unfortunately, because we have drivers already diving out of the server, I can't confirm that because I wasn't quick enough. So, wow. And as expected, taking it all literally right down to the wire.
Yes, absolutely. And we both called Andy King for the race win. We never gave it to Timo, but Timo romped away. But our outside bet, Mr. Hop, is waiting for an interview.
Excellent. Right, let me close that. Don't need that anymore. I've got too many screens open. Right. Let's bring in Frank.
Hey.
Good evening, Frank. Congratulations.
Thank you.
AM class win and AM class champion driver for the season. How does it feel?
Well, I'm sweaty. Oh, this was, in one way it was a lot of fun, but it was also horrible. So
Okay, so
it was,
how was it horrible? Because
Well,
from
Yeah, well, the sliding, going anywhere, and then I was just so lucky for some reason that Aaron, yeah, perhaps made some mistakes as well, but I made a couple of mistakes where I just slid all over the place. So that in the end, in the last lap, it still happened was actually fine. It was, oh, I thought it was ridiculous that I still stayed like third or second, where yeah, I just made quite a bit of mistakes where I was just all over the place. So, so yeah, but I think I wasn't the only one then. So, but all in all, yeah, I had a really good qualifying. I've never been that quick. The pace in itself was actually quite good. Whenever I practiced, I did like 3-4 laps and I would spin out. So this was a big improvement.
Yeah.
But it was overall, yeah, it was good fun. I was also lucky, I think, that I wasn't in any traffic. I was sort of in the middle of nowhere. I could just try to keep it on the track, which seemed to work a bit. But yeah, good fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, most of your focus this race was on your, race position being, really, really high up than the grid. But in the back of your mind, were you keeping an eye on where your AM class rivals were and how they were doing in the race, or were you literally just concentrating on, I want to finish as high up the table as I can?
Well, I was a little bit looking at that, but I thought Wouter, who was the sort of direct competitor, so he qualified really, really bad, and I just just saw his chat that in Discord that he had a really awful session. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I was so far ahead in qualifying that if I could just stay in that spot, and there were a couple of people between me, and I knew that my pace on fuel load was actually really good, then I could sort of stay ahead, and then it should have been okay. So I was more focusing on the persons directly behind me, and then whenever they closed in again, I tried to get a gap again, and then yeah, that's about it, I think. Wasn't really concerned too much with the positions, because I thought I was way ahead anyway at that point.
Yeah.
But
So
I want to apologize to Andy for that last lap tap. That was, I thought, yeah, I can try.
So I mean, and I've been saying this on all season that your overall driving has just improved so much from when you and I were racing together a couple seasons ago. Are you going to look at getting into the next class up for the next season, possibly
Yeah.
jumping into silver?
Yeah, I think so. I was silver last season, I think, but I just made so many mistakes that I was officially qualified by good reason. Or at least demoted. So now, I think, looking at my times, I belong more in silver, I think, than in AM. So
Yeah.
it's good for me to go there. Yeah.
Good. Well, very, very much looking forward to seeing what you can do next season. In
Probably the
silver.
same, but then not, and then you don't speak to me anymore.
Well, we will definitely be keeping an eye on you. That's for sure, Frank.
Hey.
You've given us some fantastic racing throughout the season. Congratulations on
Thank you
both
very much.
your race win and your championship victory.
Yeah.
Very, very well deserved. So,
Quite amazing.
what are you going to do to
guys.
celebrate?
Nothing much. I'm going to celebrate at Buzz Place, so I'm going to drive in his full setup. So really looking
nice.
forward to that. So
Excellent. Well, let us how it go. Let us know how it goes. And
yeah, we'll probably make some pictures or so, I guess, and put it on the website. I don't know. We'll see, because it's still for the charity event. So
Yes.
yeah. So that's good fun.
I'm not jealous at all.
No, I yeah.
But then it's okay, Chris.
Well, enjoy your off season, and
Thank you very much.
look forward to seeing you next season.
Thanks a lot, guys, for the comments and the broadcasting.
Brilliant. Okay, so we have our P1 and P2 from Silver. Let's bring them both in. So Andy, let's start with you. So just explain how that race went from your point of view.
Sorry, me.
Yes, Andy.
Sorry, I only heard a short bit of that.
Mr. Red.
Sorry.
Yeah, Suzuka's not a strong point of mine for sure. Qualified P2, I think Timo did a fantastic job dropping it on pole. That was a great lap time. Couldn't compete with that. I think he was probably gutted he didn't get it into the 59s. In fairness, drove away from
We were watching.
Yeah, he drove away. Absolutely well deserved P1. I think from my point of view, a couple of mistakes. The pit wasn't perfect. I lost a couple of seconds in the pit, which dropped me back down to P4, I think, or P5. I was worried at one point that Reinl was going to pip everybody because it looked like he was going for a splash and dash. I thought, bloody hell, he's pulled off a mega strat here and he's going to take the win. But obviously, alas, that didn't happen. And then, yeah, the last lap was a little bit spicy with a back marker wiping out P3 in front of me and then opening a gap up to P2, which was quite nice. But yeah, I feel bad for I'm not sure who it was who got taken out, but yeah, it is what it is for them. But yeah, good race overall. Quite happy with P2, and well done to Timo for the win.
And I've got to ask, because when we were watching this quite intensely throughout the race, how many track warnings were you on? I
actually only had one.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah, so I kept running wide at 130R, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, 130R, isn't it? Yeah, I hate that corner with a passion. If you hit the curb, it kills you. If you don't hit the curb, you run wide. It's a bit. I think you saw me in quali hit the curb and then die.
Yes,
I was very
quite spectacularly. We were on board for that.
I did notice. I watched it back. Yeah, I was very conscious of hitting the curb, but then every time I ran wide, just lifted off quite a bit. So it cost me maybe a tenth or so every time. But yeah, only one track warning.
Okay, because from our viewpoint, when we saw your lap times go red on, quite a regular basis, and we were seeing that you were lifting off quite a bit whenever you did do a red lap. So we had kind of speculated that he must be right on the limit of getting a drive-through penalty. So yeah, interesting to know that wasn't actually the case.
Yeah, I think if I'd stayed flat, it probably would have been a drive-through. In fairness.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of. It got to the point towards the end of the race where I don't know how it really works, because there was a couple of times where I didn't lift and I still didn't get a track warning, which was interesting because maybe I just did it really well one lap and that's what it compares it against. Yeah, not sure, but.
Well, and are you going to be joining us back for next season?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a good season considering the challenges that I've obviously had. I think it'd be interesting to see where I'd have placed if I hadn't disconnected in Silverstone. But yeah, I'll definitely be back for next time. Although I suspect Chris is probably not going to be putting me in tier 2. I don't know, he might do.
It's not down to me, just to say. It's not just down to me.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, definitely not tier 2. Definitely not tier 2. Everybody listening?
Tier 3, please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we would love to see you back for the next season. And I know you've had a couple of instances of bad luck throughout the season, but I would just love to be able to see what you can pull off on a consistent season where you're don't have any issues and you're here for all of the rounds. So yeah, definitely love to see you back. And I just wanted to say a big thank you for giving us some great racing throughout the season, and enjoy your off season. We look forward to seeing you back soon.
Yeah, thank you for hosting and commentating as well. Cheers,
Great,
guys.
thank you. And Timo Zidek, congratulations on both race win and also championship victory for silver class as well. How are you feeling?
Oh, it feels great. It was really hard
So,
to keep the car on track today, though. With the hot temperatures, it was very slidey.
yeah. So, how did you prepare for the race? Was there ever a consideration of doing a splash and dash, or were you always going to be changing tires?
So, with 40 degrees, I already knew I had to change tires because they were melting after 20 minutes. I had like 1 second drop off each lap. Was not fun.
I mean, after the so you had some close battling in the opening laps, and I believe Andy King did overtake you at one point, but once you got then the lead back, you seemed to find your stride. Was it a case of it took you a couple of laps to settle into then the race?
Well, every time I got away a little bit, I did a mistake. So Andy came back, and I was like, "Come on, why? Why? Why am I doing these stupid mistakes? He's coming back again." But at some
So you-
point, my pace was
Sorry,
a
go
bit
ahead.
better. So, I don't know what happened to him on the pit stop. Like, he lost like 5 or 6 seconds to me. I was wondering what
he
happened
said that he made a mistake in his pit stop, though he didn't elaborate exactly as to what that mistake was. But yeah, he dropped 2 positions in then the pit stops. And so I'm assuming you were keeping quite a close eye on where Andy was throughout the race.
Yeah, where Andy was, and also where Brian was, because he was the championship rival.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question is, how much were you keeping an eye on your other championship rivals and of Sebastian Vettel and Franz van der Linden throughout then the course of the race?
Well, at some point I didn't see them on the display because I was so far ahead.
That's always reassuring. But when you did see them on your heads-up display, were you keeping a close eye on where they were? Were you just concentrating on keeping it clean, getting it to then the end of the race?
Well, both.
Well,
Wasn't easy, to be honest. I did a lot of mistakes when I watched the map or something.
Well, didn't look like you were making too many mistakes from our vantage point. It looked like a really, really commanding, clean drive from you then this evening. Yeah, race win and championship win. Congratulations! And what are you going to do to celebrate?
I mean, it's pretty late, so I will go to bed. So not today, maybe in the weekend or something. Sometime later.
And are you going to be joining us for next season?
Yeah, of course.
Brilliant.
After championship win, I have to.
Yeah,
I can do a Nico
you
Rosberg.
gotta come back and defend, definitely.
Well, I mean, defend. I guess I will be in Tier 1.
Not necessarily. Then depends on but where you place overall. I don't. Chris, it's not an automatic and upgrade to the next tier, is it, for winning a championship?
It's we do try and promote the top 3 from each class and demote the bottom 3 from each class. So yes, if we manage to get enough numbers and run 2 tiers again, then the chances are Timo will be a semi-pro next season.
Wow. Looking forward to the challenge, Timo?
Oh yeah, but I have to do a lot more practice if I the challenge.
Well,
It'll be a hard challenge, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'd be looking forward to seeing how you do in the next year as well. So, but thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations again on your race win and your championship victory. And thank you for giving us some fantastic racing throughout the championship's been a stellar performance throughout, and definitely look forward to seeing you back next season.
Thank you.
So, Chris, that
Yes?
is Tier 2 done and dusted.
It is. It
is.
doesn't seem that long ago when we were at the first race, which I can't remember where it was, but I know.
Hungaroring.
But I know it was a race that we all watched.
Yes, we did all watch because we were both commentating on it, so we kind of had to as part of our job.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just can't remember that far back.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened yesterday, let alone that far back. But yeah, another season draws to a close. There's one more GT3 event next week, Tier 1.
Yep, and then let me get my notes because I looked this up. So December 5th, a week today, is our Tier 1 finale back at Suzuka. So again, that is going all down to the wire as well. We've got 5-point spread between the top 3 in pro class. In semi-pro, P3 is pretty much decided, but it's a 4-point battle between Justin De Jong and Nick Vargas for semi-pro, so still all to play for next week as well, so no doubt that will be just as interesting a race as this evening. And then December 7th, we've got our race room finale, which is coming from Mantorp. No idea where in the world Mantorp is, but sounds interesting. And then December 9th is our Enduro final, where we round out the season with 6 hours of Watkins Glen. I think Watkins Glen is going to be a fantastic track to do a short endurance of 6 hours on. That sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And that is our final scheduled race for the season. I've got no doubt that the admins are going to be putting together some fun races during the Christmas holidays. And yeah, keep an eye out for those for the next season announcements, which will probably be coming into Discord sometime soon. So keep your eyes open for those. Don't forget about the end of season survey. We would love to hear back from you so that we can make sure that this community and our championships are exactly what it is that you want, and we are making this the place to race in the ACC community. And I believe that's about it, Chris.
I think you're right, Sam. I think you're right.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Chris, as always. Managing our few little technical gremlins, getting those all sorted in quick order, and keeping on top of all of the on-track action. Thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome.
And in YouTube, thank you very much for listening to us banter for 2 hours. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to click that bell notification so that you get advance warning of all of our live and pre-recorded content that we will be bringing to you over the rest of the season. Thank you very much for joining us, and good evening.
Good night, everybody.